Hello.
Heidi.
Yes, I'm here.
I'm here. How are you today?
I'm good. Sorry if there's sirens. Let me turn up the sound machine I have. It's a little distracting. Well, all right. So my name is Heidi. What is your name and what? Can you
I
explain to
can't
me?
hear the sirens, but I can hear that noise.
Okay. Well, I can hear the sirens. Do you have some suggestions? What should we do?
Well, first of all, if we're gonna do a video session, can you turn the camera towards your face so I can see you?
Yeah. Is that better?
Yeah, that's better.
All right. Cool.
My name's Elizabeth, and I'm your care counselor here at Cerebral.
All right.
And you and I are going to meet once a month for 30 minutes and go over your treatment plan and talk about your medications and answer questions that you might have about that.
All right.
And we'll also work on together just to kind of see where you're at and basically discuss ways in which I can better help you.
All right. So
We have a collaborative care model at Cerebral, which means you'll meet with your prescriber and then you'll have counseling. We find that when we combine those two things together, you're just much more likely to see progress.
okay, great. Where is cerebral? Am I pronouncing it right? Cerebral?
Cerebral.
Cerebral. Where are you, and where is this company located?
I believe our headquarters is in California.
Okay.
But most of our therapists, care counselors, and prescribers work remotely all over the country.
And is it against your privacy rights for me to ask where you are? Are you even in, like, hypothetically, the country? I mean, just because.
Sure, hypothetically in the country, I'm in Texas.
Okay, yeah, because to establish a relationship, we kind of need to know, like, where and who you are. So that's great. Okay, you're Elizabeth, and you're in Texas.
Yeah, I'm in Texas.
All right.
Now, your prescriber most likely is in your actual state.
All right.
Yeah, mainly because they have licensing laws that they have to follow.
All right.
I'm an unlicensed professional right now, so I don't have the same restrictions, if that makes sense.
All right. And yeah, from what I could gather, cerebral, or just let's worry about the pronunciation later. They're based out of San Francisco, if I'm correct, right?
Yeah, so, yeah, our headquarters is in California.
I think it's San Francisco, but whatever, I can find this out later. Oh, right. And you're Elizabeth, and you're in Texas. You're unlicensed, but you are. What's your educational background?
Like, sure, I can tell you that.
Okay.
I'm a master's level clinician in training.
LSW?
So, yeah, I am a clinician in training. I'm getting my master's degree in professional counseling.
Okay.
I'm a certified life coach, a yoga teacher, and I'm actually currently getting my Reiki certifications.
All right. Oh, cool. That's
on the side. Yeah. So I plan on specializing in attachment trauma and helping women work through difficult life transitions.
All right. Well, that's great. That's great.
Yeah. So while I cannot practice therapy with the clients that I meet because I'm not licensed to, I can definitely help you with like a forward motion in your life.
All right. And I like that you are gravitating to women. I want to be upfront, and this is part of who I am. I am not committing to me and Elizabeth having as of today, a set in stone journey. The way I approached this cerebral, because it seemed like, okay, for one, I'm not going into a office or whatever they call these places where they go to see the therapist. So I have I feel this way. I have the ability to say, hey, let me check another one out and kind of pick my favorite. So I want to be upfront with you. You won't be the only care counselor I'm looking into establishing a long-term relationship with.
Yes, absolutely. And that was actually the next thing that I was going to tell you is if after our session you don't feel like I'm the right fit for you, I'm happy to connect you with someone else. In fact, we can send you profiles that you can read through and
Okay.
actually select your care counselor based on that.
Oh, that's great. That would give me some information and some guidance. Here's some more sirens to give you some idea of where I am. I am on like a main street here in Washington D.C. and there's literally screaming EMS that go by about every few minutes, and it's high velocity in the daytime, so I can't really cater to you when it comes to the sound machine. But if there's a screaming siren, we're not going to really be able to have dialogue.
I understand. I have not heard a siren yet, but I'm sure that you can because they're right in your front yard. So
Right, that's correct. Okay, so let me
so
let
Ms.
this.
Heidi, I noticed that you met with your prescriber on the 7th. Can you tell me a little bit about how that appointment went?
Right, let me let the siren go ahead and pass down 15th here.
That must be so annoying.
It's awful. I'm relocating. I liked him. He is titrating me down, and he also advised his, to search for a therapist, not just a counselor.
Yes.
And this was the same page that I had already entered into all this journey of therapy. So what I guess I can obtain from you today, which would be really helpful to me since I'm new with the cerebral, is if you could send to my email. If you don't have it, I'll give it to you. My email, you can send me the information on the therapist and other counselors. This would be very valuable to me.
HeidiGranger9@gmail.com.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm actually going to ask the care team to reach out to you.
All right.
And send you that information.
Great.
I'm going to do that right now while I have you on here. I wanted to just check on something. We have therapists only in certain states, so I need to check to see if you're on this list.
That's what he said.
I have as of right now, we do not offer therapy in your location, so
I think that's what he was saying. He was saying for me to find somebody I could go to, and if I wanted, and that's what I'm obviously making the initiative to do. So I'll look for somebody I can go physically in to meet with, or maybe I can do this video chat, someone local, is I think what he was trying to tell me.
Yeah.
Okay, all right, that's what I'll do.
Yeah. Now, with that being said, can you kind of talk to me? He hasn't entered his notes into our system yet, probably because you mentioned you saw him on Friday.
Yeah.
Can you tell me a little bit about what you guys talked about and kind of what you're experiencing and going through so I can better help you?
I'm not going to tell you what I talked with my practicing doctor about, no. But I can tell you about how I feel and think about things, sure.
Okay.
Okay?
Sure.
Ask me anything you'd like.
Well, I guess, however you're feeling, I guess I'm just trying to get a feel for, what do you currently do when you feel a certain way? How do you cope with that? What are your current coping mechanisms?
What are my coping mechanisms for feeling any old way, or do you want to go ahead and give me an emotion and I can answer you better?
Well, the reason, so most of the time when we meet for care counseling, we talk about, how your symptoms are manifesting in your mind and body, so that we can talk about ways that we can cope better. Primarily, we talk about coping skills, things like grounding, deep breathing, even journaling and meditation, things like that. But it's hard for me to get an idea of what your needs are. So I'm just trying to get a feel for what you currently do.
That's nice of you to reach out and ask me what my needs are. Well, since we're not today establishing a long-term relationship, I don't really need to tell you my needs.
Okay.
You know, because we this might be the last time we ever really talk.
Okay.
But if there's anything else you want to ask, go for it.
Well, do you have any questions that you need me to ask your prescriber at all?
No, my relationship is confidential with my doctor. So,
Okay.
in fact, I'll go ahead and tell him that I'd like to keep it that way. And that I saw you, and that I haven't made a commitment to keeping you as my care counselor. But you were very helpful with reaching out to the other department, and they're sending me information on other people that hold your position as well as therapists, which is what he suggested I do if you'd like to have that much information about what we talked about.
That sounds good. Okay.
But I think we still have about 15 minutes if you'd like to go ahead and run this out. You want to know about how I cope and how I feel? Sure, keep asking me, please.
Okay. Well, I guess I'm trying to be respectful of your willingness to provide information, and because I don't want to cross that boundary with you if it doesn't make you feel comfortable.
With my doctor?
No. With I mean, we work on a collaborative model, so and we find that when we combine medication with care counseling, that our clients are just more likely to see progress.
Of course.
And so I have to uphold all of the privacy and HIPAA laws that all of the other providers and counselors and therapists in our company do as well. All of those rules and regulations apply to me as well. So you're covered in that respect. But what do you feel like you would like to get out of meetings with care counselors? What are your goals for that?
So I like LSWs. I really do. But I know who I am and I know what I've been through in life. And what I'm seeking and what I think would be best for me is to use my insurance. We'll see if the insurance I have will cover for a care counselor and an actual therapist, because a therapist is different than an LSW. We both know that. A psychologist, so on and so forth. And I feel at this point in my life, I would make more progress with somebody who was a clinical psychologist, although I really love and respect licensed social workers. I really do. But for me, I'm looking for someone who has either a PhD or a master's degree in psychology and maybe a few specialties. And I couldn't tell you because I don't hold this education to talk to you in these terminologies. But
yeah, so when you look at the different therapists that are in your area, most of them will list whether or not they're a licensed social worker. In my case, my master's degree program is in licensed professional counseling, so
that's great.
LPC, which are both clinical degrees. And then the last one would be a licensed mental health professional. A lot of the education is identical, they just have different.
See, I wouldn't know that. I would not know that. So maybe this is the type of conversation that I can gain information from you.
But you are correct in saying that PhD level providers or prescribers are definitely at a different echelon of understanding how the brain and body work.
I'm talking
their training is much more extensive.
Yeah, psychologists. Yeah. If I'm going to spend an hour twice a month or whatever going in, I figured I want somebody who's like got a psychology degree, or I mean, this is what I'm telling myself as a lay person.
Yeah.
I have really no idea, as you can see. So I would not be able to tell Joe Schmo at the grocery store any more than, hey, I'm thinking I would like someone with a master's or a PhD in psychology, clinical this or that. I know myself, I know my needs, and that's all I can really, give to you today. I think the best thing for me as a new client of however you pronounce this company is the best thing for me is to get information that your department, you just informed them of me. I'm requesting about your therapist and
Yes.
your care counselors. Right, thank you. And if there's none in my local area, or this is what we just discussed, then I can seek on my own. I'm perfectly capable. And if there are care counselors that I choose to go forth with, I'll take a nibble of our session today. I'll take a nibble of someone else's session. This is perfectly fair, and we'll see
Yeah, I
who.
agree. I agree.
Yeah.
It's important for you to feel comfortable and supported. But I do think that you having some profiles to look at will also help you compare to see what maybe their backgrounds meet your needs.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
That is important.
Absolutely. That's why
So
I really
I will make
appreciate
sure
that.
that the team reaches out to you with some of that information, specifically for therapists and additional care counselors. So you can kind of, look through all of that. No problem.
Yeah, that is. I can't thank you enough for doing just even that simple thing. Will maybe send me completely to a new journey in life. You never know, with maybe a fabulous therapist, or who knows. And I can't thank you enough. And I do, since you and I cannot say are joining teams as of today because I'm still nibbling my care counselors. I'm still checking it out. I'm going to notify my doctor to please keep our what is this, as a client, I guess, sessions I had with him, just with him and I, until I declare I have a care counselor and we're all him and I and whoever going forward.
Yes.
So what I'm trying to say to you is you don't need to be reaching out to him to find out what we talk about. You don't need to yet, okay?
No, I would not do that.
Okay, good. Just don't waste your time.
Yeah. So when you do look for a therapist or a care counselor, what are the things that you feel are helpful or important to you in regards to their experience and or expertise, I guess you would say?
One of the big things that got me into therapy is long-term sobriety. So anybody who's in your field, what do you call this, mental health field or counseling field? I don't know what these terms are, but that's what got me into this in the first place. Was I sobered up 15 years ago, and I've maintained long-term sobriety ever since then. And in Alcoholics Anonymous, you tell your sponsees when you get a long enough time sober, you start to take in people, and they say, go seek outside help, which is what that means, is to go get a counselor, because sometimes you might have something that happened to you when you were a kid, and you're not going to work it out at AA, you're going to work it out with a therapist. So that's how I found therapists in the first place, was the AA group sent me to you people.
Yeah, I love, I've actually attended a couple of those meetings myself as a student, as a graduate student, and I must say that I left with such a feeling of community and support. And I thought that was one of the biggest takeaways from my experience, at least. It's a pretty profound organization.
Yeah, it can be. It can be. Sobriety is my main thing. I've got 15 years long-term sobriety, and if I didn't have that, I wouldn't have absolutely anything else. And I'm sure you probably heard that if you went to some AA meetings. So my care counselor, when I choose a permanent one, and my therapist, if I get to, which I don't believe I need all this therapies, but so to speak, hypothetically, they've got to have an idea. You got to have an idea of how hard it is, and what people in recovery who hold decades of sobriety. I'm not talking 1 and 2 years.
Yeah.
But over a decade, how hard it is to do that. And some people who are in recovery, they sobered up because they had some issues that were traumatic and they were drinking over them,
Yeah.
So, right, so,
Underneath
right,
the addiction is the root cause of probably the reach for the substance. So that could be some
well,
sort of trauma or experience
exactly.
in
That's
life. Yeah.
very much true with a lot of troubled teens. But you also have the people who are afflicted with substance abuse who came from totally normal upbringings and have no prior little issues that a doctor would take note of. I don't
Yeah.
understand those people. I can't identify with them because I don't know how they could have had such a good life and turned into such a raging alcoholic. But this is why I think it's in someone's genetics.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah, and that hasn't been quite scientifically founded.
I wouldn't say that that's necessarily true. I think that there are studies that show that there are genes in us that lean us to more likely to be addicts or addicted to something, whether that's a behavior or a substance. It's all the same sort of um, chemical reaction. And the stimulus in the brain is addicted to something. So some of us are more likely to be addicted and some of us are not. I mean, I know people who are addicted to working out as much as people are addicted to, maybe a substance. It's the same exact sort of behavior pattern.
Yeah, cross
One
addictions.
is achieved by external chemicals and one is not.
Right.
But it's all the same pattern of behavior.
Right,
Yeah.
but one ruins your life and one does not. You're drunk or you're sober. Is no in between.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I mean,
Well,
I'd rather work out than ruin my life and end up in prison because I blacked out and got drunk and drove around.
Of course, of course. Well, Heidi, are you actually still in AA? Do you go to support group meetings?
I do phone right now. I do phone AA, and this is great. Phone AA meetings. You call them in. You can be quiet and just listen. You don't have to announce yourself, which is a great way. If somebody's scared to go, they're just tipping their toe, or they're brand new in sobriety, and their whole world, because they're in full addiction or they're in full alcoholism, their whole world is just dark and full of fear. And so when I find a therapist or a care counselor, they have to really understand where I came from 15 years ago. My world was dark and full of fear from alcoholism, from being an alcoholic since I was 12 years old. And then when you're going to give all this alcohol up and give up your crutch and your confidence and you have to understand alcoholics if you even understand what I'm saying. And to do that, it takes a lot of courage. So when you go into the rooms, you'll see courage, these words, and that's what we're talking about.
Yeah, I definitely hear what you're saying, and while I haven't had the exact lived experience, I've had other lived experience that would help me truly have the amount of empathy that it takes to understand what you've been through. So,
well, I don't need to marry somebody who's an alcoholic just so they understand me completely. I'm not that rigid in my perspective of others. But when it comes to me getting clinical therapy by anybody, they really got to understand where I'm coming from. And that's a big place. That's a really big place. That's a lot of why I'm in therapy is going to be because of that. I'm a recovering alcoholic. You'll find people in AA who have 20, 30 years and they still see a therapist.
Yeah. Yeah. I think that therapy offers us a place beyond what our maybe non-existent support system or support system or family or friends, so that we can sort of dig around in the past if we want to sort of figure things out. For care counseling, unfortunately, we don't do that. We really try to take people and focus on the future. But I am confident that if you do look through, the profiles, that you'll be able to find someone that's a good match for you when you're
Yeah,
ready.
yeah, I think so. It just something to review and read, and I think I will be able to have way more information on it. Right now, I'm just, meeting you, learning the whole structure of cerebral, and that's all I can tell you. I'm very new
Yeah.
at this, so.
Yeah, and that's great. We find that occasionally where people just really want information, and in fact, I think that's the best way for you to take charge of your mental health is to explore and expand, and to do the right kind of research. So
Yeah, it's especially if you have the luxury of not having to go and schedule the time, get the transportation. You know what I mean? It's a
yeah,
lot more casual experience, low stress. So I'm much more confident in saying, hey, let me try another. I'm not going to sign the contract right here and today. And it's nothing personal. It's just I like that. It's a lot less stressful doing it this way than going all the way into someone's little office, and because by the time you're there, you feel like, oh, I have to stay here and I got to keep coming. You do, as a client, you do.
yeah, I totally agree with you, and that's one of the reasons why Cerebral is so amazing. Or other models like it is that it gives people choice and also access that they don't necessarily have
No, the
otherwise.
access is great. So I agree with you on that. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right,
Well,
so it looks like we got 26 minutes. I'm timing this.
you're timing it.
Yeah, we have half an hour, right?
Yes, our session it ends at 2:00, and I actually have another session right after. So, yes.
Okay. It was very nice meeting you. I can't thank you enough for being so gracious to explain to me what you can do for me. Thank you.
Yes.
And I will consider that. Also, thank you for sending me that information so I can also have some alternatives and options.
Yeah, I actually, when we get off here, I'm gonna finish up the note that I have sending to our team so that they can reach out to you. We have people who actually are, more knowledgeable than I am at getting you the right links so that you can access the information.
All right.
But I'm gonna actually work with the team that we have underneath your prescriber. We have like a clinical coordinator who can help you with all of that stuff.
This is so great. And you're giving me the titles to the company that they work for so I can somehow remember, oh, that's the clinical coordinator. It'll take me a while to remember these titles, but thank you.
So everybody works for Cerebral. Everyone on our team works for Cerebral.
Yeah, but the titles, the positions they hold,
Yes.
Thank
so
you.
I will note that you are.
Thank you. Yes, go
If you're
ahead.
interested in titles and specialties.
Yeah, I'm not exactly interested in their titles and the position they hold at the company. I'm just thanking you that you're making it clear to me, just you're letting me know you're contacting so and so. It's nice
Yeah.
as a client. It's nice that you do that for me. So thank you.
Oh, well, you're welcome, Heidi. Thank you for being so appreciative. Well, it's been a pleasure meeting you. And if you have any other questions, there is that app that you can download and communicate via the messaging portal. That is actually another part of the access, is your ability to send messages. And I see you already utilized that. You had sent a message that said, hi, I'm Heidi. I'm glad to be part of your client list. Talk to you soon. So if you think of another question that you would like answered, if we can answer it, we will through that messaging portal. Okay?
All right. This is great information. Thank you so much.
You're so welcome, Heidi. You have the most wonderful day.
You too. God bless.
Bye-bye.
Davis. May you please give me the contact information to my doctor I saw on the 7th. Thank you. Heidi. I'm not committing to Boyer. I'm checking out more than one care counselor. I'm also looking into therapist. Shut up. And possibly a local one. There, stop is no reason. Stop, Mickey. Reason to have Boyer communicate with my doctor about a care plan as of today. Stop, Mickey, no. Because I do not think I am going to be branching out another session with her. About mine and my doctor's session. Stop, Mickey, shut up! About mine and my doctor's session. As of today, session in regards to a care plan. She's fucking evil. As of today, because I do not think I'm going to be branching out with another session with her for another session. All right, I gotta go see. The baby's knocking shit down on the phone. It's fucking unbelievable.